Hello guys, you're welcome back to the channel. My name is Lolidi. So in today's video we'll be learning how to make the polo collar. That is the collar that comes with like 2 or 3 buttons. So the first thing you want to do is to cut out 2 pieces, which is like 3 inches wide and 6 inches long. Then you're going to get the midpoint of your fabric of your top. That is the upper part that you want to fix the button into. You're going to get the midpoint. You can use your iron to define the midpoint, and you can do it the way you see me doing, like this. So you're going to reel it out. Don't forget that we are going to be sewing on the right side of this fabric. Whatever it is that we are going to be doing is going to be on the right side. So I measured 4, which I later realized that it was too small. So you can measure 5 or 5.5 for yours. And even if the person is an adult, you can use 6, because this cloth is actually for a young girl. So after doing that, you are going to bring your pieces that you have already ironed. You are going to bring it in place like this. Then you are going to leave some allowance in the middle. So now the goal is to, at the end of the day, after sewing everything, the space that we're going to have around that place, it should be around 1 inch. So, and since I already have like 1/4 inch allowance on my pieces that I cut it, so we are going to be leaving like 1/4 inch allowance on the main fabric too. That is, the space that is going to be between the first and the second one is going to be 1/2 inch. So 1/4 inch on the other side, 1/4 inch on this side. Then we are going to use another 1/4 inch to sew. So all together we are going to be having 1/2 inch on the other side and 1/2 inch here. And at the end of the day, what we are going to be having is 1 inch after sewing everything down. And don't forget that what is going to be left on our piece that we cut out is going to be 1 inch as well, so that it's going to be able to sit properly after sewing it. So I'm just going to use my pin to hold it down. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine to sew it. Then I'll bring it back to show you guys. So after I was done sewing, this is what I have. You can see how it's looking. So you're going to cut it the way you see me doing. Please be careful. You can see I stopped like around 1 inch to where I stopped sewing. Then you're just going to sew it like you want to notch that area. You're going to cut it in a slant form that will lead to that part where you stopped sewing. So you're going to take it in like this. Don't forget that we sewed down our pieces on the right side. So after taking it in like that, you're going to take one side of this in, then the other side in as well. Then you can do everything from the wrong side too. You can just, take everything in like this. So you can see how it's sitting. You can see that mine has space to sit because we got our accurate measurement. The cloth is a bit stretchy, so that is why it is looking like this. So the next thing you want to do is to notch on this part. Then after that, you are going to cut out the excess you have at the back. Then you are going to iron it, then fix your collar. If you don't know how to draft a perfect collar, you can check my page on how to sew and draft a collar. So the next thing you want to do is to fix your collar. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.